Okay, we're back in the shop today, and it's been 24 hours since we put the epoxy on this, and now we're going to do the flood coat. So what I'm going to do is just do a little bit of a scuff sand and make sure that there's no trash or anything. And this flood coat is going to make this just feel like glass. It already feels absolutely lovely, but the flood coat's really going to just level everything out and make it feel really good. This is just a 220, really soft, actually a used sanding pad. Don't forget your edges. That way if there's any trash or debris, you can go ahead and get that sorted. Just don't sand too much. Give it a wipe down. I'm just checking my tape to be sure that all of that's still down nicely. Everything looks good there. Okay, we've got our epoxy mix just like we did yesterday. It's 12 ounces of each, part A and part B, to give us 24 fluid ounces. And now we'll just pour it on, and this will be the final coat. Go straight through the middle, come back. Temperature in the room should be somewhere between 68 degrees and 80 degrees. Ideally, you don't want it too cold, but you also don't want it too hot. As this sets up, it will heat up itself, so you don't want to add, you don't want to have any heat or air conditioning on in the room. Air circulating will circulate dust. You also want to turn the lights off so that there's no bugs flying around. I have had it happen when I did a countertop, come back the next day after doing this flood coat and had a fly in it, and it is a nightmare scenario. One that I do not wish to repeat, because I had to sand it down and re-flood coat it, and that's rather expensive, so you don't want to have to do that. So just keep that in mind, keep the air off, and be sure your lights are off. Now there is a trial to do this with. a tool that's on the Stone Coat website, and when we do countertops, I always use that tool. But this project, I'm just not doing that. Just working it with my hands. This is a bit less taxing than a countertop, I believe, but basically it's the same process. So just gonna move it to the edges. It is self-leveling, so you don't have to worry about that. It will level itself out, so don't stress the small stuff. And by tomorrow, it will look and feel like glass. Just stunning. This is not the same epoxy that you would use if you were doing a thick pour. This is for countertops. They have several different kinds, so if you want to do a different process, check out their website, Stone Coat Countertops. Check out their YouTube channel. They're fantastic people to work with. If I've had questions, I've called them, and they're always very helpful. So just check them out. Good product. Notice I'm not wearing a mask. There's no VOCs in this, and it's food safe, heat resistant. It's also very, very durable. I mean, once this sets up, it's fully cured in about 30 days. You will want to tell any clients to be easy on it, not set, say, a coffee maker or a mixer straight on it right away, to give it that 30 days unless you're going to let it stay in your shop and cure. If you were doing a countertop, or say, don't put a jewelry box on top of this right away, because you want to give it that full cure time, because it will leave a little indentation if it's not cured that full 30 days. So just be sure to keep that in mind. If it's a really nice piece like this, I would maybe just keep it in the shop and not let it leave the shop until it's fully cured. This is the trowel that I was talking about, and basically you're just gonna hold it down, spread it through. It spreads out your material nice and even. Don't go all the way to the edge. Just let it ride along the edge. You're gonna hold it. You're not gonna go up and down like that, as you don't want to gouge your epoxy, or if this were your first coat, you wouldn't want to gouge your paint. So just kind of let it glide and let it just move your product around. So that's what we're doing here. You can kind of angle it so that it will move your product to where you need it. So see, if I wanted it to go more that way, just turn it that way and ride the edge. It's kind of like icing a cake, if you've ever had to do that. And we'll break that surface tension in just a bit and let it run over the sides to be sure that we get those sides nicely done. And we're just going to chop out those lines that we've just put in it. Get into the middle here where we can prime that brush a bit. And then we're going to break that surface tension and let it run over those sides. Again, we don't want to go in a doing here is taking the lines of that tool put in and getting them out. Spreading that material around. Move this back side, make sure I get that back side loose. On this edge. Don't really want it flowing down, but I want to be sure I've got material on this back edge. Now I'll come back tonight in about 4 hours or so and check for drips and get off those little drips, because they're not exactly easy to sand out later. So I like to kind of take them out as I go if it's possible. If you were doing a project that wasn't at your house or a shop close by, you may have to sand it off the next day, or cut them off with a nice sharp scalpel. That makes me a bit nervous. Me with a scalpel in hand, a bit scary. And when you're satisfied, then you can just torch it out and be done. Just going over it to get the bubbles out of it. We'll give that a few minutes and then we'll torch it 2 more times to get the bubbles to pop, and then it'll be done, and I'll let you see the finished results tomorrow. Isn't that pretty?